Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome back as we hop into another movie reaction and commentary. And today we're going to be watching The Truman Show. Now, this isn't going to be my first time watching it, but this is going to be my second time in a long time watching this film. The reason why I'm watching it again, because so many of you guys have been asking for The Truman Show, even though I've already watched it. And for those of you who are out of the loop, maybe this is like your first video that you're watching on the channel. I've been going through a lot of Jim Carrey's catalog, and we've been studying and observing a lot of the films that are, either more widely known or more underrated when it comes to his performances, how he engages with the scripts, how Jim Carrey's able to enable his talent as an actor and as a person who is able to physically engage with himself and also the script. We're seeing and we're studying how that impacts not only the story, how it impacts his performance, how it impacts the people around him. And it's a really great time observing this, but this is something that I do want to revisit again, not only because it's been so long since I've seen The Truman Show, but because of its its sci-fi-ness to it. I love the idea of Jim Carrey just being in movies that typically, you would look at him and you would look at the script and you would see that there almost isn't any similarities. And I love that. I love when he's able to put himself into situations that, enabled him to go out of his comfort zone, out of his box, yet he's still able to bring forth his gem, the reasoning to why Jim Carrey is, who he is. Now, The Truman Show is really interesting. My friend of mine, and rightfully so, is absolutely freaked out by this film. And again, like I said, rightfully so. This is something that, you would almost read in a old school sci-fi novel, right? Something real short, but it's like everlasting with its theme, its messaging, to the point where it's almost scary, right? For those of you who have watched They Live, the old school film, when he put on the glasses, Mel Gibson, that moment when he was able to look around and see the actual reality that he was in, I think that's one of the reasons why we love sci-fi. At least for me, it's one of the reasons why I love sci-fi. Just the idea of something that you used to think was real, suddenly shattering, or maybe it's altered, maybe it's different. It's an interesting concept that I am really excited to jump back into when it comes to The Truman Show. But this time around, seeing it hopefully within the clues of filmmaking, hopefully within the clues of writing, of dialogue, of acting, and that's really exciting for me. So there is rewatchability with this film, and I'm very excited to kind of go back and watch it again, not only for the story's sake, but for filmmaking sake as well too. So again, if you guys would like me to revisit some of these films, by all means, I'm definitely open towards it. I don't usually do too much of just rewatching films that I've seen before, but I think when it comes to The Truman Show, it is something that I want to give another chance towards, especially because of this channel and what we're able to do here. I think it's a really good way for everybody to just take some value from a film that I think is already extremely valuable. Before we get started, by the way, it's crazy how The Truman Show is rated PG, but me, myself, and Irene is rated R. Now, I can see why that's the case, but you would think The Truman Show, just for its psychological disturbedness, would be at least PG-13. I would dare say put it at rated R. I think that would have gave maybe a little bit more of a horror aspect to The Truman Show if it was rated R, but I would at least put it as PG-13, not PG. This is crazy. You show like a 7-year-old this film, they're gonna look at you weird and think that you're not real. But regardless, I'm excited to jump into this. You guys know the drill. If you want to be able to support this channel, the best way to do it is by checking out the Patreon. You can sync up your copy of the film with mine, and you'll be good to go in terms of all there is to watch and all there is to say. You can also support by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe. And at the end of the day, you don't have to do any of those things. I hope that you can just sit back, relax, get your popcorn and snacks as we hop into The Truman Show. Again, if you guys want to be able to follow all that I have to say, about this film, by all means, go to the Patreon, sync up your copy of the film with mine, and you'll be able to access the uncut.
No cue cards. It isn't always Shakespeare, but it's genuine. It's a life.
The thing that I really, really enjoy about this is, like, what is the world on the outside? I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but man.
We find many viewers leave him on all night for comfort.
This is technically live streaming, right? And this is technically what it is.
If I die before I reach the summit, you'll use me as an alternative source of food. Ew, gross.
Yeah. I have a feeling that I have a feeling that if the Truman Show was really happening today, we wouldn't do anything about it. As dark as that sounds, I mean, I would definitely have something to say, but would it be enough to get people up in arms about it? I'm not too sure.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
My thing is, where are they hiding the cameras? Where are they putting the cameras at? Wow. Imagine seeing a damn spotlight fall from the sky. That is just awkward. Whoever did that, though, was getting fired. You're fired. Nothing but clear skies.
Just then. An aircraft
That's
in trouble
weird.
began shedding parts as it flew over sea.
Yeah, it's cool. It's been a minute since I've seen this film, too. So, again, I know the concept, but I don't know, or I should say I don't remember the execution. So, this is great.
That be all for you, Truman?
That's the whole kit and caboodle.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
It's also interesting having, again, Jim Carrey and him having his performance within this film itself, within the concept. It's really interesting. You know, he's known for his overacting, but
Always.
he's not really overacting within this film, especially when everybody around him is fake.
Hello. Could I have directory assistance for Fiji, please? Fiji Islands.
Truman, did you see this?
I'm sorry.
What was that one film that we watched way back when we were doing a sci-fi run? I think it was called Dark Skies. Underrated film. If you haven't watched it, if you like The Truman Show, watch Dark Skies. I think that's what it's called.
Hello. Are you still here, huh? Thought I might have missed it.
One way
Oh,
or
man.
return?
Again, I really enjoy some of these camera angles. It's almost like, you know, with the fisheye lens, the wide angles, it's like they're surveillancing him, which they are. You know, it makes sense now.
Look what I got free at the checkout. It's a chef's pal. It's a dicer, grater, peeler, all in one. Never need sharp.
No way they got commercials. No way. Oh, man, that's creepy.
All the way around here? Fiji. You can't get any further away before you start coming back.
I tell you.
You know, there's...
It brings up the question of if you were to raise a human being within the confinement of this false reality, would they still want to escape? Is it just like an innate thing for humans? You know, or is it the society that you construct within it? On some Aaron Yeager type of vibe?
Don't worry about that. Bonus time is just around the corner.
By the way, the soundtrack of this film is really great, by the way. That's horrifying, even if it is constructed. Imagine being a kid, losing your dad, and having to feel like it's your fault because you just wanted to explore more. It's interesting how that prior feeling, that trauma, is impacting his wanting to explore out at the sea. To this beautiful shot of him just sitting in the sand, looking outward at the waves. Yeah, that's crazy. I would definitely think I'm cursed if that starts happening. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Guys, again, it's been a while since I've watched that, so I'm still getting, like, some of the, some of those creepy moments hit me still. Yeah, it's creepy. Looking back out at society after that moment. This is just one big escape the room plot. One giant escape the room, except you've been living your whole life within this room.
Your mother called. You really shouldn't upset her like that.
What did you want?
He's like, what the hell did you come down here for?
You know, you really ought to throw out that mower. Get one of those new elk rotaries.
Oh, for crying out loud. For crying out loud. If I had somebody just spouting company brands at me, I don't know. I'd freak out, man. I'm not sure if this is also purposely done, but I've noticed it a few times. I wanted to notice it first before commenting, but there are a lot of shots that confined, Truman as a subject within the frame. There are usually things that represent his confinement, him being trapped, whether that's like two binders right to the side of him or other forms of things that are just holding him within place. I don't know, I find it really interesting. Again, I want to look at the filmmaking and seeing how they execute the story through that method as well. I'm gonna pop a question for y'all, by the way. I hope you guys don't get too existential, but just stay with me. What would you do if after this life that you live, right? Whether you meet your maker, whatever the heck, maybe it's aliens, maybe it's your dad, I don't know. But all the events, or even a few of them, were orchestrated. How would you feel? How would you reflect back on your life? You can answer that in the comments. I'm curious.
Truman, you studied enough.
No, I gotta commit this time.
See what I'm saying? Quite literally buy some binders. I was joking about that, but man, I'm telling y'all, I think there's a reason why they confined the frame because of the concept of the film.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Lauren, right?
I think it's real cool that, despite what happened in his past, even though it was an orchestrated traumatic event, he's not afraid to still go out and risk it,
We so little time. They're gonna be here any minute.
Who are?
They don't want me talking to you.
Then don't talk.
Smooth. Man, it's straight smooth with that one. That was great. Too bad she is dangerously serious.
Do you understand? Everybody's pretending.
I don't know.
No. My name's not Lauren. It's Sylvia. My name's Sylvia. Yeah.
Lauren, sweetheart, not again.
That's a lot. That's a lot to take in right here. He's just looking at that picture. I hate my wife. I hate my life. But now we understand his fascination with eyes. I was wondering why they punched in so close in her eye there.
Gloria, he'll be on you in about 90 seconds. Pops, make sure the coffee's hot. Okay, he's making his turn on the Lancaster Square.
That's crazy. Just hearing every action you do, just being broadcasted on the radio while you're listening. I really like this shot. Sticking a camera on those little reversible door thingamajigs. I don't even know what to call them. Just simulating him going round and round and round, but something's changing. Again, I love all the attempts this film does with the filmmaking to really immerse you within the script. Like, they're always showing the surveillance where the cameras could be hidden at, the people that look over, that monitor him.
Can I help? Oh, yeah, I have an appointment at Gable Enterprises.
They went bust.
Woo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Dude, imagine seeing that during your daily routine, and you just see people eating, you know, the catering. You got people monitoring screens. It's a great way to, you know, showcase paranoia, I'll tell you that. That's why I'm like, how is this PG? This would make a kid think that his world is not real. I'm pretty sure it did to some of y'all.
Whatever you say, I'm game.
What? What are you talking about?
Yes, sirree. Your birthday comes but once a year.
I love the shots too, where it just feels like a distortion of reality. You know, like the shots that focus on the mirrors bending the space.
Oh, do you remember, Truman, when Dad was still with us? That was quite a drive. You slept the whole way there.
It looks so small.
Things always do when you look.
I was just about to wonder. I was like, damn, Mount Rushmore look a little rushed. The whole time he's like, I know what you are. I know what you are.
Sorry. It's okay. Here, let me help you with that.
He's like, okay, all right, scoot.
The right knee?
They're like, shut up, commit to the bit, commit to the bit. It's interesting seeing how people have to, you know, cause disturbances so that way, you know, he doesn't get too put onto what's happening.
Well, his father was from Chicago, wasn't he?
No. His dentist was from Pensacola. His father was from Des Moines.
But how come he wants...
Also, it's another weird aspect where everybody knows every facet of your life. That's crazy. All for what? All for entertainment? Is that a way to live? I guess it's one way to live.
Silly.
There it is! There it is! There's the dented beetle! Yes!
I love that he's being more of himself. I mean, granted, it's coming from a place of fear.
You're on a loop.
But it's nice to be able to see,
They come back.
you know, the overacting of Jim Carrey, just showcasing that he's more authentic the more he's finding out.
You happy now? I'm gonna go take a shower.
Let's go now.
Yeah, he said, how about now? It's a great day out. It's perfect out. Let's go to Fiji right now.
I changed my mind. What's New Orleans like this time of year? Mardi Gras!
I mean, yeah, this is from like a sense of desperation, of franticness.
Oh my, Truman! We're on fire!
Okay.
We're on fire!
It's okay, it's just smoke. Just smoke.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yes!
You want to do it again?
No!
He said, you want to do it again.
They had to shut her down.
Is there any way around?
Whole area is being evacuated.
Is there anything I can do?
No, ma'am.
Thank you for your help.
You're welcome, Truman.
Excuse me? Excuse me? How do you know my name?
No!
I'm telling you, I do not remember this. I do not remember any of these events.
Stand me.
That's not true. Why don't you let me fix you some of this
Insane. Insane.
out in Nicaragua? No artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about?
He's like, what the hell? What are you doing? Who are you talking to?
I've tasted other cocos. This is the best.
What the hell does this have to do with anything?
The way I would Batista bomb her would be insane.
There's so many
Choice!
No! Do something!
Yikes. Yikes. I love how the music cue kicked in right there.
Losing my mind, but it feels like the whole world revolves around me somehow.
And isn't that a scary thing? Imagine having the world revolve around you and you still are the loneliest person. You're the only one. It's not just because there's no one around. Everyone's around. If anything, everyone knows you. Everything's catered towards you. The problem is that no one's real.
I want to be somebody.
This is different. Everybody seems to be in.
What would you guys rather have? Another question for y'all. Would you rather have this, like the Truman Show, or would you guys rather have like a Twilight Zone moment where you're the only one?
Other's test papers.
You're practically alone in either option, but it depends on, I guess, who you are as a person.
But, well, the point is, I'd gladly walk in front of traffic for you.
Goodness. Man, this cut is harsh, isn't it? Especially during this scene and how intimate it's supposed to be. Oh, man, it's heartbreaking.
Button Cam 3.
Was the Truman Show a book, or was this just an original IP? Regardless, it's incredible.
Dad.
I'm telling you, if I meet God and he's doing this, I promise you, I'm going to get my paycheck.
Two man-made structures visible from space. Now, in its 30th great year, it's the Truman Show.
Goodness. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot of this at all. They're in a giant dome.
Pins and needles the entire time.
I guess that makes sense if a light is falling from the sky.
And welcome to True Talk, our forum for issue.
It'd be awkward if it just killed Truman. It's just the end of the movie.
In the past.
Truman! It's television! Yes! Yes! I did it! On the Truman Show!
But
that's so funny, man. That is hilarious. Because this would actually happen. I love how realistic this film strives to take itself.
Back in. Masterstroke.
Because they could have took areas where, or liberties, I should say, to not have that put in. But this is really real. Like I appreciate the efforts.
Yeah, hi, Christoph. I was just wondering how many cameras you got there in that town.
Somewhere in the vicinity of 5,000.
Jesus. 5,000 cameras, man.
Just one. He was curious from birth.
They put the camera in the womb, bro. Are you serious? When this thing was an embryo?
The casting of a show determined by an air date. Truman was the one who arrived on cue.
There's something really heartbreaking about this, man. Like, that's terrible. And unironically, a lot of this is happening now. It's just we have phones and cameras and live streams and fame and the internet.
A small country.
People forget it.
We have more than 5,000 cameras now. We have millions. Billions, maybe.
Stone straight ahead. You heard it here first. It has been a singular honor and a pleasure, sir. Christoph, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Meanwhile, Truman's been eating milk and cookies for like that entire segment. That's wild. They really do just have him on, even when he's sleeping. I would psychoanalyze this villain. I'll call him the antagonist a little bit more, but it feels like he is thrusting what he would love to do for the world onto Truman. You know, maybe he feels like he can't do it on the actual world that he lives in, despite having everything. So he enacts this experiment on an innocent human being, quite literally.
The week, month, the year. Could be today. Sunbather, minding his own business.
Again, I love how they are having so much fun creatively when it comes to the filmmaking, but it also has a meaning. You know, like it's like where the cameras would be hidden.
It's an obstruction.
What happened down there?
He was just tidying up his garbage. I was gonna call you, but halfway through he gave up and he fell asleep.
Yeah, Truman's ready to dip. He's like, let me go ahead and like fake y'all out real quick.
There. Stop it. What? Zoom in.
On which?
Under the chair there. Enhance it.
Ah, he did the enhance. Hell yeah. He did it. Marlon and his beers, man. He's always having his beers. Got him. Got him. He outplayed y'all.
Jesus, God in heaven.
What the hell? Oh my God.
Give me the phone.
Black. What?
Give me my
phone.
Man, if all we're watching is the Truman Show later on in the future, we're cooked. We're already cooked. We're just boiling right now. We're like the frog in the pot. But if it gets this bad, we're cooked. Fried. If anything, we're probably going to have multiple Truman Shows going on.
What time is it?
It's way too early for that.
What are they gonna? They're gonna make it daytime again? Is that what they're planning on doing? That's crazy. That is wild.
How can he sail? He's in insurance. Isn't he terrified of the water?
Resume transmission.
Resuming transmission.
He wants to get out of there. Despite anything and everything. You know, that urge to want to escape, explore, to venture, it's all compact into one.
God's sake, Chris. The whole world is watching. We can't let him die in front of a live audience.
He was born in front of a live audience.
Crazy. What a wild thing to say, man. This man is just completely locked in. He's like, nah. The story right now is elite. Getting hit with a wave in general, full force, is no joke, y'all. I'm really curious to see how Jim Carrey came across this role. He's about to pierce the veil, though. He's about to pierce it. That's crazy. Imagine you're just sailing a boat. You're thinking there's infinite space, but you hit a damn wall. Man, that is a shot right there. The water, the fake background, him trying to smash through the wall. I'm sure there is a lot of emotion that are just colliding with one another there, with that newfounding knowledge, the fact that you've beaten them, the fact that your life has been a lie, the fact that you were right, the fact that you've been wrong. It's a lot to take in.
Truman. You can speak. I can hear you.
You just got God talking to you right before you're about to escape the Matrix.
Listen to me, Truman. There's no more truth out there than there is in the world I created for you.
Hey, the one truth that is true is that there are no truths.
I know you better than you know yourself.
You never had a camera in my head.
Oh, he said you never had a camera in my head.
You belong here.
You can do it.
With me. Talk to me.
It's even wilder because he actually cares. That's the craziest part about it. I love that.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. He's like, I'm out. Peace. Yeah, that's dope. I love how he just threw that back in his face.
You want another slice?
No, I'm okay.
What else is on?
Yeah, let's see what else
Where's
is
the
on.
TV guy?
Let's see what else is on. Nice. guys, and that is The Truman Show. Wow, I'm actually very happy I watched that again. I took a lot more in. All right, everybody, and that is The Truman Show. Again, this is something that I've watched long ago, probably over like 10 years ago for the first time, and it's great being able to watch it again now with not only this YouTube channel, but just me understanding filmmaking, writing, cinematography, storytelling that uses filmmaking just in general when it comes to showing instead of telling. And this film does a brilliant job with this. I am curious to see how much more of a limit they could have pushed depending on the rating of this film, you know, because this is rated PG. It's not even PG-13. So I'm curious to see how far they could have stretched it with only like even a PG-13 rating, let alone a rated R version. Not to say that it's necessary, but I am just curious to see where this story could have taken, because I can see a lot of ways and a lot of avenues for Truman to really come to this understanding that this world that he's living in is fake. You know, maybe some darker turns that could have been taken. But overall, just what we were giving and how this entire story was laid out to us, it was just incredibly well. I mean, if I can be honest with you, I think this and Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind is probably my favorite Jim Carrey films. And it's funny that, like, you know, both of them I've watched. I think I watched Eternal Sunshine for the first time on this channel way back then. But yeah, this was incredibly directed, really well written. That's why I'm curious to see if it's from a book, because if it's like original idea, that's really well done. But I'm curious to see if this is within a book, and if not, there's a ton of literature that explore this type of phenomenon happening. But all to say is that this was done to showcase and explore the idea of identity, you know, the idea of what makes us, and is it possible to curate and craft, you know, the human body, the human spirit, or just the human element of wanting to explore, our curiosity. And as much as we like to think that exploration, our curiosity, as they say, sometimes kills the cat, it is one of the reasons why we are who we are to begin with. I feel like that identity is innately human. And yes, it does comes with its own faults, but it's worth it if you choose to chase after it. I mean, we can clearly see that with the world that we live in. I mean, we've quite literally explored damn near every facet of it. However, if you're a curious person like me, then you know that we are just still, even with all the things that we found out, we are just beginning. And it's what we do with that idea and that curiosity that I think really crafts the individuals that we are today. At least I hope so, right? But yeah, this was incredible. Like I said, my friend said that when he watched this for the first time, and again, he saw it when he was a kid. That's why it's funny with the PG rating. He didn't believe his parents were real. He didn't believe the life he was living is real. This film can mess you up if you are not of a reasonable, sound mind or old enough and mature person. I can easily see this influencing people to the point to where it just they start thinking that they are in a false reality. I mean, hey, listen, I read a lot of sci-fi. I get it. I 100% get it. But man, kudos to just this entire film for being able to engage with the audience and immerse us within a world such as this, and getting to the point to where we follow this character finally escaping the world. I love that we are left with an open-ended segment. I'm happy we don't see him go into the real world and look around almost like some Captain America, looking around and seeing how much has changed type of moment. I'm happy that the last shot that we see of him is him walking into the abyss, and what happens afterwards is left up to our curiosity, up to our interpretation. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this film cinematically was how Truman was framed. And again, it makes so much sense, but I love when, you know, you can figure out the foundation to a lot of the interpretive stances. So again, what do I mean by that? When you're looking at Truman in a lot of these frames, if you study the frame and look at how he's being positioned, he's very clearly a subject within a cage, whether that is him being in between two binders, or him being in between two people, or him being within a space that has all four corners, closed up. The cinematography shows us that. And the reason why I want to take my time with that, because once you start seeing multiple times, that's called a motif. You see a pattern, a rhythm. It's all to show and highlight in a way that isn't telling us that he is trapped within this world. He is trapped within the confinement of not only the world that he's in, but maybe the mind that he's in. And as he's breaking out of that, you'll notice that there are very few frames that are trapping him within himself. And all of that coming to a head where he's out in open sea, where there are no borders, there are no boundaries, and he's not fully trapped. He still is, technically speaking, but he's getting to a place where he can be finally free. Another really cool reasoning for that is to also highlight all the cameras that were within the world. Again, I love that we are being shown this and not told this. I think that's the most beautiful form to filmmaking, and I stand by that. We are able to see all these angles and all these cameras, and it makes logical sense because there are 5,000 of these things. He's completely monitored 24/7. So of course you would put a camera within a sharpener. Of course you would put a camera in a trash can, or in the weirdest places, because that's exactly what they need to do to keep the show monitoring. But it also makes way for really interesting shots, really dynamic movements. It's just such a win-win and a great dance when you can blend things that are very metaphysical, interpretive, thematic, into more practical, grounded elements, and have explanations and still room for interpretations afterwards. I think that's a great reasoning to why filmmaking is a powerful subject when it comes to storytelling, rather than, that of like a book in that case. But in reality, all forms of art has its more powerful reasonings to why that form of art is great when it comes to storytelling. But in this case, when it comes to filmmaking, that dance, that connection of being able to showcase interpretive thoughts, thematic thoughts, room for continuous thinking with more grounded, practical elements, and then just kind of have them merge seamlessly and have an explanation for it, I think goes to show you the power of filmmaking, but also the power of a good writer, a great actor, just all these elements that I think work together. And we get the Truman Show, and I think that is a brilliant example of that. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. There are a few questions in there I would love to see the answers for when I'm reading the comments. But as always, I appreciate y'all. I hope that you guys stay healthy, stay hydrated. Don't walk too far outside now, because we are just getting started.
Purple jacket, pocket full of weed. Everything that I should ever need. Grab some matches cause they give them free. Just like my time. Hair pulled back in the backseat.